and welcome to Cavs Daily, your one-stop shop for everything Cavalier related. I'm your host, Paul Williams, and we have another banger for you today as we'll be talking about the Cavs' victory in their home opener over the Bucks. We'll get into some other stuff too, but a lot of the show will be about that. If you could, before we get started, hit the like, subscribe, come on this journey with us as we're dropping daily through the Cavs championship run and hopefully through a Cavs dynasty. I think it can happen. Stay tuned. Anyway, with that all out the way, let's get to the first topic of the day, which is a recap of tonight's victory over the Bucks. It was the Cavs home opener, and it was definitely rocking in the queue tonight. A sold-out crowd, of course, and they definitely brought the energy, which was needed as the Cavs didn't play bad by any means, but they just got into some lulls throughout the game that the home crowd and that energy definitely helped pick the Cavs up and helped us get through some of the ups and downs in this game. As you can see on the screen, the Cavs got the dub 118-113 in a game that had a ton of runs. And while I know that is part of basketball and it's going to happen in every game, it seems like the Cavs' runs have been a little extra this year, and the swings have been a lot bigger than normal both ways. And that's something we're going to dig into more later on in the show. But that was the case again in this game as the two teams went back and forth in the first quarter before the Cavs started to pull away a bit in the second quarter. Bucks came right back, got within a couple baskets again, and really when the Cavs separated in the second quarter after going into the quarter trailing by 1 point, they took the lead pretty much for good. The Bucks tied it a couple times, but took the lead for good a few minutes into the second quarter. And when the Cavs really made their push midway through the second quarter, it was actually on the backs of a very interesting lineup that didn't have either Donovan Mitchell or Evan Mobley in it. The lineup was a lot of guys that weren't even really in the rotation last year at all or big pieces in the rotation. The Cavs went with a lineup of Lonzo Ball, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Larry Nance Jr., and Jared Allen. And it was doing work. Fueled by its defense and hustle, they were able to build the Cavs their first double-digit lead of the game. And a big part of that was just the hustle, again, of Lonzo Ball, who finally started to knock down some shots today as well. In my eyes, he's been playing great so far this entire season, but his shooting, at least, his point outages, haven't been what you would want to see, even though his role isn't to score. A lot of people look at box scores and look at score lines, and that's all that matters. Today, he did have 11 points, his high with the Cavs. He did that on 4-7 shooting from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line. And he seemed to be a part of every big swing the Cavs had throughout the game. In that second quarter, when it looked like the Bucks might be taking control, there was a missed shot from Sam Merrill, and Lonzo swooped in from the three-point line, grabbed the rebound, dunked it, gave the Cavs the lead again, and that spurred a 10-0 run that built the Cavs lead to double digits. So just a lot of good stuff from him and from that lineup in general. Larry Nance again looked great. He knocked down another big three in the second quarter during that run to help the Cavs push out their lead. And another thing that was great to see in the first half, DeAndre Hunter was back playing his first game of the season, and he looked very good, coming out pretty aggressive, had 9 points in the first half total, and he was hitting a lot of shots off the dribble, making his own offense, pulling up from all over the court, which was nice to see and something he didn't do a ton of for the Cavs last year. The Cavs ultimately took a 65-56 lead into the third quarter and into halftime. And from there, it looked like coming out in the third quarter, the Cavs were ready to really put the game away. They came out with a ton of energy. They were hitting shots, and the Bucks were missing some shots that they were hitting in the first half, which seemed like that was going to happen. I mean, the Bucks hit a lot of tough shots in the first half, especially that first quarter, to keep them around in the game. But right when the Cavs built their biggest lead of the game of 18 at 79-61, the Bucks responded with a 14-2 run to once again get right back in the game now late into the third quarter. And they actually even tied the game in the third quarter. The game was tied for the first time in forever at 85 before the Cavs scored and took a very, very small lead into the fourth quarter. But they did have the lead going into the fourth quarter, 86-84. And they didn't relinquish it from there at all. The Cavs again to start the fourth quarter, they went on another little run, had another little push, and it looked like again, hey, here we go. The Cavs are ready to put the game away. Craig Porter hit a big three. Donovan had a couple baskets, and just like that, the Cavs were up 98-88. But once again, the Bucks made a push of their own with a couple threes from Taurean Prince and AJ Green. And just like that, they tied the game at 98-98. Coming out of a timeout, I think the biggest 2-minute sequence of the game, the Cavs were able to get some big baskets that we're going to talk about in our next segment to build their lead back to 105-98. And from there, the two teams went back and forth, but the Cavs were able to hold off the Bucks' runs. The Bucks wouldn't get any closer than 3 points from then on in. And Evan Mobley hit 6 straight free throws to ice the game, and it took his total for the game 12 of 12 from the free throw line, which was the best free throw shooting performance on at least 12 free throw attempted since LeBron James in November of 2014. So history for Evan Mobley at the free throw line, one of just 26 Cavs players to shoot at least 12 free throws and shoot 100% on free throws for that game. So hats off to Evan Mobley, especially after he started off a little slow from the line, shooting under his normal averages of around 75%, 78%. He had tough shooting nights, especially in New York from the line. Made up for all that with a big 12 of 12 performance. He finished with 21 points total and had a big game for the Cavs. And those free throws helped ice the game and give the Cavs the 118-113 victory over the Bucks. Wasn't always pretty, and there was a lot of what you can expect and what we've talked about numerous times now. There's going to be some growing pains and ups and downs in all of these games for the first month or 2 or 3 with guys coming in and out from injuries. We just have to get used to each other. It's going to take time. There's going to be growing pains. And when you're facing a team like the Bucks, when they have a player like Giannis, they're never fully out of it, and they're going to make runs and make it a tough game a lot of the time. Giannis absolutely imposed his will at times throughout the game. Or late in the first quarter, he took over, scored, I think, 8 straight to keep the Bucks in it and give them an early lead. Then in the third quarter, he really just put his head down and went to the rack every time and really took over. He scored like 12 points in a 3-4 minute span that tied the game for the Bucks and gave them a chance to win the game. He finished just 1 assist shy of a 40-point triple-double. He had 40 points, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists to obviously lead the Bucks, who also got good contributions from a lot of role players. AJ Green had 20 for them. Ryan Rollins had 14. Miles Turner had 13 points and 6 rebounds. For the Cavs, we were led by Donovan Mitchell, who had 24 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. Evan Mobley with 23 points, not 21. He had 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. So a nice full stat line from Evan Mobley, which you just have to love to see and kind of expect to see. And you know he did it defensively as well, as he had 3 steals and 2 blocks for the Cavaliers. DeAndre Hunter, in his first game of the season, looked great, like I said, hitting off the dribble, hitting from deep, rebounding pretty solid, and had a few nice assists. He finished with 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in 27 minutes. Sam Merrill, another big game for him. I mean, he's been probably our 3rd best player so far this season. He dropped 17 on 5-11, or 5 of 11 from the field, 4 of 9 from the 3-point line, and I think through 3 games of the NBA season, he's been the best 3-point shooter in the league. He's just been a revelation for us coming off of giving him that contract this offseason. Clearly, it's looking good for the Cavs' decision of keeping Merrill and letting Ty Jerome walk, even though it's early. Jared Allen came back to earth offensively after dropping his biggest game last game. He only had 8 points, but he did have 11 rebounds. He was a lot more active. He played a lot better defense than he did in the first game against the Knicks. So that's just a whatever game. Not terrible, not great. It's whatever. Larry Nance only had 5 points and 5 rebounds, but he made his impact felt in the 12 minutes that he did play. Craig Porter played pretty well in 16 minutes, only had 5 points, but he did have 3 rebounds and 3 steals. Jalen Tyson, coming off the bench, had 5 points for the Cavaliers. And Lonzo Ball finished with 11 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal as he balled out once again for the Cavaliers. Now, let's switch gears just a little bit and touch on some of the biggest plays of the game and some of the turning points of this game. There were a few that really stuck out. One of them was at the end of the first quarter. Donovan Mitchell got fouled shooting a 3-point shot. They actually upgraded it to a flagrant foul because he didn't have any room to land. So the Cavs got 3 free throws and the ball to end the quarter. Donovan made 2 of 3, which we have to still clean up our free throw shooting. Besides Evan Mobley, not a great performance again at the line from the Cavaliers, but that was still a big play as it just kind of swung the momentum back in the Cavs' favor as we ended the first quarter. And then Tyson hit a big 3-point shot, I think with 9 minutes left in the second quarter, which cut the Bucks' lead, which had been at 4 points, to just 1, 37-36. And it sparked a 10-0 run that gave the Cavs a lead they wouldn't fully relinquish, even though, like I said, the Bucks did tie the game a couple times. Merrill hit a big 3 late in the second quarter with about 30 seconds left. That gave the Cavs a 7-point lead, which turned into a 9 right before the half. I think that was a big moment in the game, as was, unfortunately, Giannis's takeover in the third quarter, right when the Cavs built their biggest lead of the game, and it looked like maybe we could rest the guys in the fourth quarter. Giannis took over the game with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter and just refused to let the Bucks completely get blown out. And by the time you looked up, it was a 2-point game with just 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. So that was definitely a huge sequence for this game for either team. And then in the fourth quarter, as soon as the Cavs again built a pretty decent lead, Ryan Rollins made a few big plays, capped off by a 3-pointer that tied the game at 98 a few minutes into the fourth quarter. But then a few key moments for Cavs players once again. DeAndre Hunter, following the game being tied at 98 apiece, DeAndre Hunter hit back-to-back pull-up step-back jumpers actually off the dribble, which expanded the Cavs' lead. And then with 2:26, Merrill hit another big 3-pointer, this time to build the Cavs' lead to 6 at 110-104. And then from there, Evan Mobley iced it with the free throws. So those were, to me, some of the key moments and the key plays of the game. And as you can tell from what we just talked about, there were a lot of big runs in the game. Both teams had numerous 10-0 runs, 14-2 runs, and again, it's like all three games so far this season, especially the two Cavs victories. We build these big leads and they are just evaporating too quickly. We know that basketball is a game of runs, especially on the NBA level. It's just a known fact there's going to be runs throughout every single game, but to have them to these extremes is something we are going to have to clean up. I think part of it is Kenny Atkinson, you can tell he's trying to let the guys play through some things and kind of learn on the fly and work through it without having to call timeouts whenever times get tough. So I think that has played a big role in these runs, especially the ones that go against the Cavs. And on the other side, the Cavs, I mean, Cavalanche, like we've talked about many times, is a real thing, and we're going to go on crazy runs. We showed that all year last year. The type of offense we have and that we play with the personnel that we have is conducive of big runs. So that's going to happen. We just have to clean up defensively, letting the other team go on the type of runs that we've let now the Knicks, the Nets, and the Bucks all go on, because even in the Knicks game, we make a big run ourselves to tie the game and then let the Knicks go on a big run to once again extend their lead. And of course, the Nets erased a 20-plus Cavs lead as well just a couple nights ago. So do have to clean up the runs a little bit. I think early in the season, just trying different things and Atkinson being hesitant to use timeouts has played a part. So not a huge deal yet, but still something to keep an eye on. And to wrap things up today, I just want to touch on something that we spoke about, I think, a month ago. Obviously, it's been an open secret that Giannis is probably the biggest name superstar that realistically has a chance of changing teams in the next year or so. Could be as soon as this year. And while there's been rumors about certain places or certain preferences, I don't know, but just watching the game today and thinking about it some more, I mean, could you imagine if the Cavs were able to pull something off to get Giannis here and keep Donovan and Evan Mobley? And with the personnel we have, I think it's a realistic possibility. I mean, build a package around Darius Garland, Jared Allen, I don't know, Dean Wade, and then a young guy, either Tyson and Proctor, and a couple second-round picks or a first-round pick. I mean, not many teams are going to come to the table with a better package than that. So I think it'd be foolish to rule the Cavs out if it ever was serious Giannis looking for a new home or the Bucks being willing to trade him. The Cavs would have to be at least an option as far as who could give you the best return for Giannis. I know there's other factors besides that, but just on that alone, I think puts the Cavs in the conversation. And if you're in the conversation, it's exciting because even if you have a 4% chance to land him, could you imagine a core of Giannis, Mobley, and Donovan Mitchell for the next 3, 4, 5 years? I mean, especially with the talent we would still have around them, because we're not going to trade 10 guys for Giannis. It would truly be a frightening scene for the rest of the NBA. And I couldn't imagine the guys that would want to come and play with those three and help us keep the team filled in outside of the big three. That would be those guys. And I don't know. I think that would be almost a guaranteed, etched in stone 2 to 3 championships in the next 5 years if we were able to keep that core together. And I don't think it's that far-fetched. So it's a crazy thought just on the surface, but I do think it's something that does have a tiny chance of becoming a realistic possibility, and that would be fun, and that would guarantee a lot of title runs for this Cavaliers franchise. Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about that in depth sooner than later. We could keep our fingers crossed. Either way, we're going to win a championship regardless, probably 2, 3 with this core. So fret not. Just a thought exercise after seeing them and seeing him dominate the Cavs tonight in Cleveland. With that, we're going to wrap up tonight's episode. If you're still here with me, you're a rider, and I appreciate you, and I'll always remember you guys supporting me the way you do. Thanks again for your time. Hope to see you guys back with me tomorrow. Until then, have a wonderful day and stay safe.